doing this day is working with the four foundations, or the four abidings, or the four establishments of mindfulness. And I'm going to read a little bit of that to you in a minute. That's what we're going to be doing this all day. The word seamless is a very good word to remember. It's like we're trying to have this seamless experience of working with being mindful of everything we do. Ordinarily, everything that we do is we're mindless. So if you go to the kitchen and have a cup of tea, basically it's fairly mindless exercise. Or go to the bathroom, you know. The only mindful thing we might do in the bathroom is read something. You could read Dharma while you're in the bathroom. But, you know, if you think about folding every activity into this activity of watchfulness, that's what we're trying to do. And it really goes so much against the grain of what we've done all of our lives. We've learned how to be mindless. There's interesting in some disciplines of Chinese Buddhism, they talk about being mindless, and that's a good thing. But that's not, they're not using it the way we practice being mindless. So we're trying to fold into this day the practice of, I actually prefer the word watchfulness, being watchful. Silently watchful. So, you can practice this every moment. When the bell rings, you can be aware of hearing. You can practice awareness. You can know that you're hearing. Rather than, you know, the bell can ring and then we bow and we stand up. But you can practice that moment of awareness. You can practice the moment of after the bell rings. We'll be sitting and then we'll be standing and walking. So that's another moment to be mindful and watchful. It's just an amazing opportunity. When you want to go to the kitchen and have a cup of tea, you can be watching and watching yourself, and watching that move into the kitchen, and watching the getting your cup and dipping the tea bag. I think one of the most, a lot of you all have heard this, one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life was at the Insight Meditation in Barre, Massachusetts, and I had a cup of tea, and I'd been doing this for 5 months. That kind of helps a little bit. And I started dipping the tea bag into the tea, and suddenly there was something just switched in the mind. And then there was just this noting of dipping, and the ego was no longer doing it. So, and that lasted for 2 or 3 days. But it's just because I've been practicing that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And suddenly some part of the mind just took over, and it just then became mindful. So that you know, I could wish that on everybody. It was an amazing experience. So it might happen to you, but you might remember that, right? That when you're fixing a cup of coffee or fixing a cup of tea, it's an opportunity to wake up. Every single moment is an opportunity to wake up. We just forget that. We live so robotically, and because our brains are really, really good. They're really smart. So our brains have learned how to do everything so that you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? But unfortunately, that's too bad, because the truth is we need to watch, and I almost wanted to say we need to worry about it. And maybe in a good sense, we do need to do that. So seamlessness, practicing seamlessness, trying to remember. You'll forget, I'll forget. I'll forget as many times as you do. I'm on the same level that you are. You'll forget 1,000 times to be aware today, or 10,000 times. How many times then can you remember, right? So if you forget 1,000 times and you remembered 1,000 times, that's extraordinary. So it's to remember moment by moment to moment. This is about waking up to this present moment, waking up to this very moment. The U Pandita says that we can wake up in this very life. That's the title of a book he wrote. In this very life, we can wake up. So it's an incredible opportunity.